Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome to our Greening Your Supply Chain webinar in partnership with UPS. First of all, to kick us off, as you're all coming in, we have a short video from UPS to start us off today. Amazing. So hello everyone and welcome. We are super excited to have partnered with UPS to bring you this webinar, which is focusing on being more sustainable when it comes to shipping and distribution. UPS is one of the world's largest parcel delivery companies and is committed to helping support startups and small businesses in order to make the supply chain greener and drive down carbon consumption. Today, in our keynote, we will be hearing from Artur Drenk, International Sustainability Manager, and Elba Pariha Gallagher, Sustainability Director, Stakeholder Engagement, UPS, from the team, who will be sharing with you how you can include carbon neutral shipping in your business supply chain to create sustainable options in your customer delivery experiences. Then in the second half of our event, Artur and Elba will be joined by startup founder Jamie Milroy to come together and discuss some of the biggest challenges startups face when it comes to shipping and how small businesses can be more sustainable when it comes to shipping and distribution. Any questions that you guys have at any point, please pop them in the Q&A box and I will ask the speakers at the end of the presentation, again at the end of the panel discussion. But for now, please let me hand it over to Artur and Elba.
Hi, everybody. We are very excited to be here and talk about our favorite topics, which is sustainability and supply chain. And if we could start with the first slide. I think Rachel is going to advance for us. Perfect. So my role at UPS is Director of Stakeholder Engagement, where we need to understand who are the UPS stakeholders and how do we listen to them and create value for them. What I'm showing you on the screen now are our sustainability goals. And so as you can see, we have aimed to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. And before I get into the goals, I want to talk to you about something that is important to UPS, which is the teal blue section on the right, which is our guiding principles. And you may hear a lot of people talk about goals. And for us, we are very focused on our North Star, as we call it, what guides us in everything we do in running the company and especially around sustainability. So you see these 5 guiding principles on the right: lead with integrity. The second one is a holistic version of sustainability. And certainly you can see by my slide background, we've got ESG, thinking of all of the components of sustainability. And even within each one, for environmental, for example, you can see that we're thinking about our entire network and all of the stakeholders that we impact and who impact us. The third one is to deliver impact, not just promises. We want to ensure that we are creating goals that are achievable and that will deliver impact to our stakeholders. The fourth one is interesting. It says de-link growth from greenhouse gas emissions. What does that mean? Well, every time that we move our network, move packages in our network, we're creating carbon emissions because we're physically moving and transporting goods. What we aim to do is to disconnect the growth in packages with an equivalent growth in carbon emissions. We don't want it to be one for one. We want to become more efficient so that we can grow our packages with not as much growth in carbon emissions. So that's what we mean by delinking business growth from carbon emission growth. And the fifth one is to take a fiscally responsible approach based on sound engineering principles. I have a background in finance. Before I came to sustainability at UPS, I spent 24 years in finance at UPS. So I certainly find fiscal responsibility important. And the second part of that statement is sound engineering principles. Did you know that UPS has been a company in operations for almost 115 years? In August, we turned 115 years old, and we've done it through engineering innovation. And Artur will talk about that as we go forward. And now finally, just returning to the 5 goals, you can see that we do have interim goals. So by 2025, we intend that our ground operating fleet will use 40% alternative fuel. Our facilities will have an electricity that is renewable, 25% renewable electricity. And then by 2035, we're going to have sustainable aviation fuel being used, 30% sustainable aviation fuel. You may or may not know that airline emissions is one of the hardest areas to eliminate because there are no electric cargo planes, right? So we have to look for alternatives. And today, the only alternative is really biofuels, renewable fuels, but they're not widely available. The supply is still very low and it's extremely expensive. The next one by 2035 is a 50% reduction in our carbon dioxide emissions per global small package. So that's an intensity goal. And then the last one is that by 2035, all of our facilities will be 100% renewable electricity. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Artur to talk to us a little bit more about our goals and what we're doing around to achieve them.
Great. Elba, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was so inspiring that you showed us the view from the top, our strategical view. So I can't say anything else, but let's deliver. And to invite you for a few minutes, deliver a loop using our sustainable delivery solutions. So at UPS, I'm honored to work with our engineers, with delivery experts, to implement sustainable delivery solutions for our customers here in Europe. So I'm going to show you really practical approach how we deliver these strategies here in Europe. Okay, so as you see and as you are aware, the whole delivery chain is divided by few different transportation modes. And we are starting from green mile, from last mile delivery and pickup. This is the first area with dedicated city logistics solutions to deliver and pick up packages in the inner city. Then we have our ground transportation network, where we transfer significant amount of goods between cities, between countries. We have also our air network, where we transport goods between cities, countries, and continents. And finally, we have set of special delivery solutions like vertical takeoff and landing. So let's say drones. Okay, so starting from the last mile delivery solutions. So trikes, they support inner city deliveries, right? So we use that solution over years, from several years in many European cities. However, recently we introduced a new solution. It is our eQuad. So on the bottom, the right corner, you can see four-wheel electrically assisted solution, which support our last mile delivery network in the inner city deliveries. They are really turning heads in London. recently we introduced a new operation using this technology in London, so you can spot them there. These can support our operations for a distance up to 70 kilometers and can carry a cargo load of, let's say, 2 cubic meters. So this is a great support for our operation. Going to last mile delivery, you can see on the top right side of the slide our electric vehicle, which is a future of last mile delivery operation, to be honest. And we see that there is a huge potential in electrification of a last mile delivery fleet. So worth to say that we ordered 10,000 of such vehicles in an Arrival company. And very important is to say that Arrival company is a UK-based startup, right? So we cooperate with these electromobility enthusiasts together to build a purpose delivery van, especially for logistics industry, right? So we connected on our efforts to really design and build specialized vehicle to support operations in the last mile delivery. Also, going further to ground fleet, where we need to transport big amount of load between cities and countries. There we use our trucks with trailers. So currently it is too early to get some technology advancements to electrify this transportation mode. That's why we see that there is a huge potential in renewable natural gas. We can save up to 80% of emissions using RNG in our fleet. So we treat this as a bridging solution before we will get commercial solutions at scale in terms of big trucks electrification. So currently for the next few years, it's too early to get electrification in that transportation mode. Finally, we have air transportation network, and there we, as Elba mentioned, there sits an emission. So that's why we are targeting very ambitious amount of SAF, which will be used by the 2035 year, so in 20 years from now. And this is a very ambitious goal because currently on the market, there is no so much SAF available. So we see that current supply on the market responds for less than 1% of the whole aviation needs. That's why global effort, research, development, also triggering supply.
I think we lost Artur again. So I'll just mention on this slide as we wrap up our opening remarks, just want to tell you that beyond those nice shiny vehicles and transportation solutions that we have, we also spend a lot of time on innovation. And in fact, you can see by the background on my screen, I have a light bulb.
Use Orion system to calculate our delivery routes in the best way. And also, I really love the sentence that the greenest mile is that never driven. And that's really true because our delivery experts are focused to design our network in a way to save emissions by save fuel as well, right? So to have the most effective smart integrated global delivery networks. So this is a goal.
Hey,
and
Art,
finally, sorry?
Let's as we wrap up our remarks, how about let's tell them a little bit about our innovation. We have the slide on the screen. You know, how is UPS innovative with regard to our network?
So yes, that's a really great question. Thank you for this. So how we are innovating, and definitely we test all of our solutions in a live rolling our laboratory. So we drive 1 million miles every day using our innovative solutions, right? Also, we are designing them and working and implementing together with our partners, right?
Great. Well, I think at this point, you can see on the slide that we talk about our smart logistics network and the Orion technology that we implement, and really, as Artur said, the rolling laboratory. So I think we're going to turn it back over to the team to continue.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. It is great to see everything that UPS is achieving and how seriously they're taking sustainability, and to see all your plans. Even the 2025 plans are massive, and it's not long away, is it? So it's very exciting to see what you guys are doing in this space. We're going to keep you obviously on screen with us, as we are now going to invite Jamie Milroy, founder and CEO of Dash, to join us for our second part of today, which is our panel discussion. So Jamie, welcome. It's such a pleasure to have you on. Obviously, Dash is a subscription e-bike company helping the nation change how it commutes for good. Obviously, we've heard a little bit on UPS and Elba and Art. So maybe to start us off, you can tell us a little bit more about Dash and how you guys work in terms of distribution.
So as you said, Dash is an e-bike subscription business. So what that means is you can rent an e-bike from us for as short as a month and as little as £29 a month. And we've tried to put together a package that basically makes it as easy as possible for anyone to get cycling. So you get your bike, your helmet, your lock, insurance. Anything goes wrong with the bike, we'll come to you and fix it. And we deliver the bike to your door, pre-assembled, ready to go. So it's really, really easy, designed to get everyone commuting by bike or e-bike specifically. And we operate, all across London. So within the M25 is our current patch. How we go about distribution. So most of our bikes are actually delivered by other bikes. So we'll strap them onto the bigger bikes and deliver them where possible to our customers. Clearly, though, when you've got to go from one side of London to the other, or where you've got to do multiple deliveries, it's not always possible to get the number of bikes required onto a single bike. So then when we have to do that, we sort of go to van rentals or things like that. But what we're always trying to do is keep our footprint as low as possible, really. So we don't own our own vans. We only use them as and when we actually need to use them. So we're not having a van lie idle somewhere. So I think we do a good job. We can always do better, but that's sort of how we go about it in a nutshell.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And it's obviously great to see startups that are kind of starting up in this sort of space, and trying to think more green and trying to help people be more sustainable in ways that they can. So we love all startups, but we especially love it when people are kind of focusing on that sort of area. My next question was to Art, but I feel like he's just dropped off. So maybe I'll stick with you for a little bit, Jamie, and maybe just ask you where the idea originally came from. Like I say, it's obviously great to see small businesses popping up in the sustainability and the green, and especially the electric vehicle sort of space. So what was it that really made you guys create Dash in the first place?
Yeah, good question. So in a previous life, I used to work for one of the big accountancy firms here in the UK, well, globally actually. But anyway, while I was there, I came across a report that showed how much the firm was spending on moving people across London, basically. And when you think there was about 15,000 people in the two London offices, the amount of money that was spent moving those people over a couple of miles, because fundamentally all our clients were in London as well, it was a staggering amount of money. And I just sort of reflected on my own experience, which is, I spend a fortune on tubes, buses and taxis. It's always the slowest way to get around because you've got to walk somewhere to get on a bit of public transport to be dropped off near your destination, but not exactly at it. So you've then got to walk again. And I just thought there must be a better way of doing this. And, you know, that's where e-bikes then came in. And it sort of evolved and evolved and evolved to the point where actually we realized there's a real problem getting people cycling. So how do we make and we then thought, well, e-bikes are clearly the best way to get someone cycling because there's no fitness requirement or very little fitness requirement, but they're very expensive and people don't really know what they are and they're a bit scared of them. So it's then sort of working, right, how do you solve those problems? And, you know, like all things, you take little steps to get there. And that's sort of where it led us to where we are now.
Oh, it's amazing. Small steps make big changes eventually. So yeah, it's great to see you guys in this sort of space. Albert, I don't know how you feel with answering maybe some of Art's questions, or should we try and give them a go? And then if it's not your area, we can just kind of move on.
I would love to give it a shot. Let's do it.
Well, I guess because we were talking to Jamie and starting on the startup sort of side of things, one of my first questions was, how do UPS work with startups and small businesses in terms of shipping and distribution?
So the great thing about UPS is that we have such a vast network that we can work with small companies or large companies. I see Art's back. Do you want to, are you able to answer, Art? We're talking about how does UPS help small businesses? What are some of our initiatives?
Oh, definitely. Thank you very much for this. So some connection issues I'm just facing here. So look, how we work with SMBs. So definitely on our UPS landing page, we have dedicated section for small, medium businesses. So you can find what kind of international rules oblige to export, let's say, from your country. Then you can create an account. You can create a label, so ship and track your package, also obtain an invoice. So we can do everything just on the website. So it is really easy and you can do it really fast and convenient way. Also on our YouTube channel, we have dedicated SMB webinar series. So there you can see quite many very useful webinars with our experts, advisors, how to start shipping and how to do it in the most effective way. So I hope that it answers your question.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Art. And how does UPS help business owners and small businesses in particular maybe include sustainability in their business strategy? How can you guys jump in and help businesses in terms of the sustainability side of things in particular?
Elba, so I can take that question if you allow, right?
Yeah, sorry, Art, that one was to you.
Okay, great. Okay, good, super. So how? So first of all,
Oh no, I think we have lost him again. Oh, Albert, I can't hear you.
Is this about the alternative options that we're offering our customers?
Yeah, sorry. So, how do you help business owners include sustainability within their business strategy?
Yeah. I think we have a slide. Maybe Rachel can pull up a slide where we're kind of giving some examples of the ways that we work with customers and different ways that they're able to reduce their carbon footprint and be more sustainable. I also put a cool link in the chat about a brand new program at UPS called the UPS Green Exporters Program. So Art, we pulled up on the screen sort of the more sustainable shipping journey that we offer customers.
Yes, definitely. So this is also a good area where we can help our customers. So look, at the beginning, we would really like to meet with you and analyze where carbon dioxide emissions sits. So really to eliminate and mitigate these areas, right? So during the whiteboarding style meetings, we analyze the whole supply chain and see really where we can bring and provide reductions, right? Also, which solutions to use. So we have few dedicated solutions which can omit, which can reduce carbon dioxide emission, and also solutions dedicated to offset that emission. So, for example, we should consider to use access point deliveries, right? Because they significantly reduce CO2 emission. We should also consider to use carbon neutral contractual. This is a kind of contract where UPS support our customers to offset carbon dioxide emissions and to make their value chains much more sustainable. Thank you.
Yeah. Looking at the slides there, it's really interesting to see, because I guess to someone like myself who's not obviously an expert in running a business or in shipping and sustainability, I just think sustainable shipping is just all about the transport, you know. So like when you were mentioning the different types of transport that you were trying to make more sustainable, so the electric vehicles, the drones, the bikes where you can, etc., I was like, oh, that's great, that's amazing, you guys are being so sustainable. But it's so much more than just the transport, isn't it? I hadn't even thought about, you know, the packaging and the analyzing, and the less trips the better. So yeah, it's incredible to see all these like different small, I guess, steps that businesses can make will, like we were saying, make a big difference eventually. And it's about making the changes where you can. Jamie, how difficult do you think it is for startups and small businesses to work sustainably, especially when it comes to shipping?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's difficult to work sustainably. It is undoubtedly difficult to get to net zero. But in terms of working sustainability, it's just having the attitude that you're going to try, I think, is the best place to start. You don't need to get there all on day one. It's just about thinking about it, trying to do something a little bit better, challenging yourself, and, you know, going, actually, what can I do differently? You know, in terms of us, we've got quite a challenging shipping problem or process, because the size of bikes. They do come in very, very large brown boxes, as you've seen behind me, which we've used to make a wall. But especially with us, we're not only shipping, you know, the bike in a box. It's a bike assembled, ready to go for a customer. So that does make it very challenging to work with, you know, almost any shipping provider or courier, because they like things in brown boxes, and when you don't give them something in a brown box, it can be a bit challenging. So I think that's why we've had to go down the route of, you know, thinking about how we do our own shipping, and hence why we use the bikes, and then we use, you know, rental van fleets. But I think, yeah, it's just about having a go, really, and that's not difficult.
Yeah, and I think it's great that you guys obviously are using bikes to deliver bikes. Like, that is just like the best point that you guys are making. You know, we can be sustainable delivering these massive objects, so, you know, there's no excuse really for kind of maybe other businesses setting the perfect example. Let's say, I love that. Maybe Elba can jump in on this one, I don't know, but what are some of the alternative delivery options that offset people's carbon footprint? You know, Jamie said it's really hard to be at net zero, but how can you kind of like work towards that?
You know, a great alternative that we can all participate, certainly small businesses and big businesses, is something we call UPS Access Point. And this allows you to consolidate this pickup and delivery activity, rather than asking your provider like UPS to drive around and to many places to pick up and deliver packages. If we can put them all in one location and then have one pickup or one delivery, it's great. So we call it UPS Access Point. And so that is one example of how you can reduce your carbon footprint, because as Artur mentioned earlier, what our goal is to eliminate the miles that we drive, because every mile we drive is producing carbon emissions, right? So we want to reduce the number of miles driven. So if we can consolidate your deliveries into one location and you can come pick it up when you're out running your errands, well, that's a great example.
How long have you been, guys? How long have UPS been using this system, and how many sort of access points do you have around? Like, is it quite convenient? Do most people have access to one, or is it something that you are looking to expand even further in the next few years?
You know, we started with just a few access points globally, and now I want to say we're up to like 50,000 different places that you can globally find a central place. So Artur, I don't know how much you know about in Europe especially. I'm in the United States and Artur's in Europe, our access point network.
So definitely, as you mentioned, this network is getting bigger and bigger every year. So we really see that there is a that is really convenient way to pick up and deliver packages from these kind of locations, right? So they are located at convenience places. So these are small shops with a parking where you can just pick up a package, you know, at your convenience when you're coming back to home. So yes, this is definitely also great way to reduce carbon dioxide emissions in terms of sustainability.
Amazing. And Elba, one of my other questions to you, I know you might have answered this already in one, but I didn't know if you had anything else to add, but what is carbon neutral shipping and how does UPS help with this?
Sure. So, you know, one way that we can all contribute to a more sustainable supply chain is to identify places where we can't eliminate absolute emissions, right? Let's say we still need to get a bike because we use bike to get to work, right? So we need our bike, we still need to get it shipped. What we can do is make an investment in something else that eliminates the carbon that we're putting out into the environment. And the example, you know, you call those carbon offsets. So at UPS, we have a program called Carbon Neutral Shipping, where when you ship a product, you click on a button and you can pay a little bit extra, just a small amount, to then offset the harm that you're doing through the transportation. And so I put a link in the chat that talks about carbon neutral shipping. But that is a great way that the consumer can decide that I want to contribute to reducing my own carbon footprint from ordering a bike or, you know, ordering merchandise that gets delivered to your house.
Yeah. I'm guessing a lot of the businesses, you know, small and large, like you said, you work with an array of business sizes. I'm guessing that a lot of them do ship globally and worldwide. So when it comes to shipping their products, a lot of the time it has to be through aviation. Obviously, a massive company like America, even to ship from one side to the other, you know, the most beneficial way is going to be through aviation. So I guess doing something like your carbon offsetting is something that can help where, you know, there's no other alternative at the moment. It has to be kind of flown across the world.
That's exactly right. And, you know, the airline emissions is one of the most challenging to abate, to eliminate. And it's going to take innovation and new solutions that haven't even been invented yet that allow us to use fuels that are not fossil fuels or to change the aircraft. You know, another example that you may not think of when you can reduce and improve your sustainability is more new equipment. So let's talk about aircraft. The newer the equipment, the newer the airplane, the more modern its systems and the more fuel efficient it is. So one thing that UPS does is we invest in our network. We've recently increased new aircraft. And so again, just like when you buy a new vehicle or even a new bike, right? New technology makes you operate more efficiently. So that's another example of how UPS improves our network optimization and efficiency to help the consumer reduce their own carbon footprint.
Definitely. talking of bikes, Jamie, how important is sustainability to startups and small businesses? I know obviously you're talking on behalf of Dash, so how much
Yeah.
does Dash prioritize, sustainability when it comes to its distribution? I know obviously we've said you're setting the example and you guys are doing a great job there. But yeah, how important is that to you guys? Like when you're thinking about business strategy, where does kind of like sustainability rank? And yeah.
Yeah, sure. It definitely sits quite high up there, to be honest with you. I mean, go back to the start of the question in terms of how important it is. I mean, it's pretty vital for all of us that we get this right. So we all need to do our bit, as it were. I think the advantage that startups have, perhaps even more so than small businesses, is the fact that we've not been around that long means that we don't have anything which is massively entrenched that can't be changed very quickly. So once we work out how to do something a bit better, we're actually quite good. And I think most startups are quite speedy at implementing change and reacting to it. So the advantage that's sort of the advantage the startup has. In terms of why it's important, aside from the obvious reasons to do with the environment and why we need to reach net zero, more and more of our customers and the people we work with are sort of demanding it. So I think unless you're reacting to that, you're slowly going to struggle against your competitors, because sustainability is, as we say, is a really key issue for us, but it's also a really key issue for all of our customers. So if we're not doing something about it, we just won't win. So I think that's do it for the good reasons that will help you sleep at night, but also do it for the reasons that mean your business will survive and grow profitably.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a
Anna?
whole. Yes, I'm sorry.
Anna, may I add something also what Jamie said?
Yeah, of course, please.
Because I fully agree with his comments, and really we see currently that more and more customers are really asking for sustainable solutions, and we see also that this will be a new competitive layer where businesses will compete in the near future, right? So market really understand that there is a need to mitigate and offset emissions. That's why this will be new area where businesses will be definitely competing between each other.
Definitely. And I was kind of on both of your points there. As I was going to say, it's a big topic, so we won't get into it now. But obviously, greenwashing, we have found is happening a lot. I was going to say across startups, but I think that's really unfair. It's happening obviously across all size businesses. But like you were saying, Jamie, I think it's really important, especially when you have customers that are from the younger generation, and I don't want to just single them out. There's an array of people that are strongly believing in this, but there's more and more people that are wanting and, like you say, demanding this. So it's really harder for businesses to kind of greenwash and kind of make out that they are being more sustainable than they are, because people are going to be found out, aren't they?
Yeah. And I would say also people are becoming wiser to it. Everyone is their education process, or everyone's going through this education process of what net zero means, what carbon neutral means, and all this sort of stuff. So, there aren't those hiding places perhaps that there used to be, which is a good thing.
Definitely. And kind of like touching on this, Elba, what are the implications of sustainability on business costs? So obviously we've spoken about why it is so important now, and like how it is such an importance for all size businesses, especially the startups. But yeah, what are the implications on business costs and delivery time? How difficult is it for businesses? Elba, I can't hear you again.
I want to dispel some myths. People often think that being sustainable is going to be more expensive. And as I mentioned earlier, coming from the finance profession, I understand that. It's important for businesses to watch that bottom line, right? But I think that we have to achieve the power of and. I'm going to show you this book that I'm a big fan of. It's called The Power of And. And it says that responsible business without trade-offs. And the concept is that you need to be innovative so that your business not only is being successful, but it's also and being sustainable. And I'm going to give you an example and tell you small businesses, whether you have one employee yourself, maybe you're just starting and you're a sole proprietorship, or you have just a few employees, that you can ask all employees to challenge themselves to be more innovative and find the intersection of positive bottom line impact and sustainability. I'm going to give you a quick example. This is real life. One thing we're doing at UPS is trying to inspire our employees to shine the sustainability flashlight in the corner where they work, no matter what your job is. So recently, one of our UPS sustainability trailblazers, which are employees passionate about sustainability, attended a conference where it was women-owned businesses, and we were looking for a way to improve our, we do have a lot of plastic containers that we have to use, right, to ship your packages. And so she was able to find not only a woman-owned business that makes these plastic poly bags out of 100% recyclable material, and it costs less. Imagine that. So it was a win-win-win, right? Cost less, sustainable, and supported social responsibility, the S in ESG. So I would encourage you, it doesn't have to hurt your bottom line. You just have to be more creative and innovative, which is why I have the light bulb on my background.
I love that, and I love that you've mentioned the light bulb a few times. I think it's so great, and you know, we, as you say, we hear so much about this, but it's really great to see, you know, actually what you guys are doing and how seriously you are taking this. I feel like it's a topic that's been spoken about so much, but it's good to see actual actions being, you know, put forward, and really you guys are taking this forward. I guess, you know, to maybe wrap the panel up from me, and then I know we've got a few questions from the audience, so I won't hog you guys completely. My final question to you, Elba or Artur, whoever wants to jump in, how can sustainable packaging provide real value? You know, let's finish on this kind of like big statement and finish on packaging. How can it really provide value to businesses?
Let me take it, if I may.
Of course, please.
Okay, great. So I think that referring also to Jamie's comments and what I just said a few minutes ago, so this will be a new and is currently new competition layer for the businesses. So we all take care about total customer experience. So also this is very important, where customer is getting his or her goods in a right packaging, right? So then customer is really satisfied that these kind of goods what they purchased are also transported in the most sustainable way. So I think this brings another value to the whole sales process.
Amazing. Jamie, did you want to add anything on packaging in terms of Dash? You don't have to. I just wondered.
Yeah, no, I mean, as I say, our packaging, we take it out of all the boxes. I can vouch that bike boxes do make excellent dividing walls, though. So that's us using our packaging as giving it a second life. But yeah, no, we don't ship our bikes in any packaging, so there's not much to be more efficient on there. Yeah,
you can't really be any more efficient than that, can you? Any more sustainable than no packaging whatsoever. Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. We have got a few questions from the audience. So Elba, I'll start with this one. How confident is UPS to reach the 2025 target that was previously mentioned?
Yeah, we are feeling really good and strong and confident on this target. I mentioned UPS being an engineering company for nearly, 115 years. We make a goal and we are actively working toward it. But this specific goal, when I'm looking at my slide here, for sure, I'm going to put it back on the screen real quick, just as a refresher. So the 40% alternative fuel and ground operations, we are absolutely confident on that. We are well on our way. and certainly renewable electricity in our facilities. In fact, I'll tell you that just this year, we took our 2 data centers in the United States, and we are now using renewable electricity there. So yeah, I feel really good about those.
Oh, good. It's great to see. And yeah, I think what you guys have said today, like you say, you're well on your way. So it we'll be looking forward to tracking your guys' progress on that one. Jamie, I guess the next one may be more relevant to yourself. And the question is, how can startups recover from the impact of COVID? I thought we were going to get away with not mentioning the C word in
I know. I thought we were past it. Gosh,
But,
big question.
I guess also, how did COVID impact you guys? You know, was there any kind of, in some cases it kind of helped? Did you see any kind of major changes, any massive disruptions? How was it for you guys?
Yeah, so I think for us specifically, COVID was actually really, really challenging while it was going on. Now we're past it. I think what COVID was fantastic for was hitting reset button on how people live their lives. So lots of people, tried a bike for the first time. Lots of people, because there weren't as many cars on the road and there wasn't as much commuter activity. Everyone experienced the sort of cleaner air and what cities can be like. And I think people are sort of holding on to that now. And we're certainly cycling numbers have gone through the roof. So while COVID was going on, really, really challenging for all sorts of reasons around supply chain and, disruptions to people's working patterns and buying patterns and all that sort of stuff. But now that we're moving past it, it's been fantastic for our business, to be honest. It's given us all sorts of opportunities that we're taking advantage of. And I think that, to go back to the sort of core of the question in terms of how to recover, I think it's, as I say, COVID has really shaken things up. There are people trying to do things in all sorts of new and interesting ways, whether it's, working from home and hybrid working or, whatever else. It's, as your startup, you just need to work out what are people looking for now, what problem are they struggling with, and how can you solve it? I mean, that's just the sort of essence of every startup.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, it was a challenging time for pretty much everyone, but it's good. It's good to see, people come out the other side and hopefully on and up now. Elba, I'll kind of back the question to you, but change it a little bit. How was the last 2 years been for UPS? I mean, did you see an increase in the amount of shipping? Because I know people were at home and there was a lot of disruption, but there also seemed to be a lot more kind of like purchasing online and maybe online deliveries, and businesses were kind of shipping a lot more. So yeah, how were the last 2-3 years been for UPS? Oh, sorry, Elba, I can't hear you.
I believe I keep doing that. I'm so sorry. Thank you for your patience, everyone. So, during COVID, and if you look back at our public earnings releases when we reported our results, we absolutely benefited from the increase in transportation needs of the world during COVID. When you think about the healthcare space and how many healthcare needs there were, certainly all the vaccine deliveries, we had a tremendous increase in our volume, both healthcare related and, consumer goods related, food, things people needed. And, our mission statement is about delivering what matters, moving the world forward by delivering what matters. And we had that opportunity to prove it to people. And really, we moved 3% of GDP in the United States and about, 12% in the United States, 3% globally, something like that. So we moved the world essentially. So we had lots of volume increases, and we were able to handle it with flying colors. I've heard Carol Tomei, our CEO, talk about and thank all the UPSers who worked tirelessly to deliver what matters to all of our stakeholders.
Yeah, you guys were like essential, weren't you, really? The backbone of kind of getting things around and helping people that were really in need. So yeah, it was incredible to see what you guys were doing. One of the next questions, I guess, again, would be to UPS, so Elba or Artur. are there any certificates or recommended ways to let end customers know when you introduce a greener chain? So yeah, is there any ways that you can also shout about and tell people and let people know the good work that you guys are doing?
Yeah, you know, when I mentioned before on the carbon neutral shipping, when you pay that little extra amount, which is very small, and you print your label, the label has a little icon that says this is a carbon neutral shipment. And so you're able to show your customer who receives the package that it was a carbon neutral shipment. In addition, what I've seen other companies do is they'll really put it on their website, right? So we talk about e-commerce, and it's such an important tool with your consumer. Just put a page where people are going to be checking out and say, hey, all our shipments are offset with the UPS carbon neutral shipping program.
Yeah, I think it's...
Anna,
yeah, no, sorry, Alba, carry on.
No, you finished, because I was going to correct something I said a minute ago.
Oh, all I was going to say is I think it is really important that, you know, when you are doing these green things and you are doing these good things, that you do tell your customers about it, because obviously it comes back to your point earlier, Jamie. Customers are keen to know, and like they're keen to know what businesses they're buying from and what these businesses are doing in terms of, you know, sustainability in the environment. So I think sharing every little thing that you are doing is super important for businesses of every size.
Yes. And I wanted to just make one clarification. Earlier when I talked about the percent of gross domestic product that UPS moves, I think I said 12%, but in the US it's 6%, and then globally about 3%.
Thank you. One final question from the audience, unless anyone wants to get their last questions in before we wrap up for today. But my last question to you is, what are the most effective ways for startups or SMEs to become more sustainable in terms of the supply chain? So I guess, you know, if we're going to start, if people are starting, what is the most effective way and where's the best starting point, I guess? Who wants to go for this one? Elba, you want to go? Or Jamie?
Okay, sure. Well, I'll tell you that my recommendation is to choose UPS, because the shipper that you use is really going to be who is creating your carbon footprint for transportation. And at UPS, we have made so many investments in our network in terms of the things Arthur covered, like our Orion, all the technology. We invest $1 billion a year in technology innovation that makes us faster, more fuel efficient, and reduces the miles that we drive. And so when you ship your products with us, you're essentially investing in your transportation network without you having to put up the capital. We put up the capital. So, you know, I would tell you that, you know, you need to look at who you're hiring to provide your services and ask them, what are you doing to be more environmentally sustainable?
Yeah,
that's my answer.
Definitely. Thank you. Jamie, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's so specific to your business. There are obviously, you know, you can obviously break it down by the different activities that you go through, but I think you have to just try and, you know, pick one of them and just focus on that one activity. So, you know, maybe it is just your packaging, or maybe it's actually how you deliver to your customers, but just try and hone in on one of them and make, you know, decent strides and steps on that bit, and then move on to the next one. Don't try and tackle everything at once.
Yeah, definitely. And like we have said on this session today, it is about the small steps making a big change eventually. And, you know, there's so many small businesses and bigger businesses out there, but if everyone made a small change, it will make a massive impact. So yeah, it is. Anyone want to add anything before we wrap up for today? No? Perfect. Well, the discount from UPS has popped up on your screens, or it should have. So I guess thank you, first of all, to our amazing speakers. So to Elba, Artur, if you can hear us, thank you so much for persisting with your connection issues and providing us with some great information. And of course, thank you to Jamie for being our startup today and answering all of our wonderful questions. Thank you all for coming and listening with us and bearing through the hiccups that we have had along the way. As I say, there is a discount code on screen for you now, but we will also be following up with a post note, which will be in your inboxes this afternoon. So look out for that. A massive thank you to UPS, who without this webinar would not have happened. We hope you have all enjoyed it today. I've learned so much. So again, thank you all so much and have a great afternoon, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Take care.